What's up? How's it going? My name is Dillon Carpenter, and we're back with another Let's Build Multirotors, where I'm taking the ReadyMade RC Strix Screech R frame from frame to full build. As you can tell by the title, this is actually the fourth part in the series. So in previous episodes, we've wired up the motors to the ESC. We've connected the ESC to the flight controller. We've wired up the video system. And last time I attempted, if you were in the stream, I attempted to wire up the receiver, and I do have an update on why that didn't work last time for this time. But I appreciate you guys joining me for this one. Hopefully at the end of this stream, we're going to have a quad that hovers. So my plan is to take you through kind of the software side, take you through Betaflight on this. And we've already mapped the motors correctly, so the motors are actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, and they're spinning in the correct directions. So that's step one, kind of, that we need to make sure that we're doing on Betaflight. But I'm going to take you through the rest of it just to get, little tweaks and stuff figured out there. So I think where I'm going to start is the receiver, since that's where I had a little bit of trouble last time. Hey, what's up, Doug? Man, I met you at FPV Fest in not Willard. Where is that? At Edgewater. That was an awesome FPV Fest. I hope to see you again this year. I don't know with all the craziness going on, but I already bought my ticket to FPV Fest. And once again, I have to say, FPV Fest is a ReadyMade RC event. I've got my ReadyMade RC mat down here that I'm working on. This is a ReadyMade RC Screech. There's a lot of ReadyMade RC components. We're not a sponsor officially, but hey, Tim, any of you guys, hit us up. We'll work with you. But yeah, we're not officially a sponsor. It just happens that this is my personal build mat, and we have a lot of ready-made components. I actually reviewed this frame and some other similar components for Model Aviation in the Park Pilot magazine. So check out that review just to see some more about the flying characteristics of this drone. So again, hashtag not a sponsor, but we're flying the ReadyMade RC flag anyway, because a lot of these parts were provided from ReadyMade RC. Bunch of good guys over there. So let's get into this, and I'm going to switch it over here to Betaflight, and we're going to plug in. First of all, I guess I should probably show you guys exactly what I did here. I'm going to have to zoom way in to show you this little hack that I had to do. So I am using RaceFlight, but I flashed Betaflight to the board, which made me have to, let's see if I can get this board flipped over. So you can see here, I've got this little jumper. See if I can zoom in even more. I've got this little jumper that I had to put in there, and for some reason, that is what ended up making my receiver work. So I don't know what was going on, but I had it all set up right as far as wiring and software goes, but for some reason I had to put that little jumper there. I don't understand it. I'm not going to pretend to. Found it on the internet. Some guy said, hey, I tried this and it worked. And then I tried it and it worked. So that's what was going on with the receiver. It's kind of a weird technical problem, but if you do try to follow this guide as how to build a drone, again, this isn't a definitive guide on how to build every drone with every component. These are just a handful of components that I had laying around, and I'm just kind of building what I have. But if you run into a similar problem with RaceFlight, this is a very, very particular problem, which is interesting, but that's what happens. So let's go into Betaflight and we'll continue setting this up. So I'll go ahead and plug this in. And like I said, if you remember last time, we got the motors all mapped, so those are all spinning in the correct direction, and the ESC, since we had to turn the ESC, we had to remap the motors so that this was 1, 2, 3, and 4. So the quad knew where it was and what motors it was giving power to. So we'll go ahead and connect here in Betaflight. And one of the first things you want to check, well, I don't have my accelerometer on, but we'll go ahead and turn the accelerometer on, and we'll just check the positioning of this board just to make sure that we are correct. So what you want to do is just kind of play with the quad. And of course, mine's kind of facing towards me and that's facing away, but I'm nosing down and the quad is nosing down, nosing up, it's nosing up. And then the roll axis seems to be right, as well as yaw, which is something you definitely want to make sure those are all, you know, correctly configuring. So that's kind of easy because my board is oriented the correct direction. As you can see here, the arrow, there's usually an arrow on the flight controller that points to the front of the craft that is oriented correctly. So that is why it is going in there correctly. So we'll go back to Betaflight though. And since that is done, I usually, like I said, don't turn on my accelerometer because that's just extra computer power, which my CPU load down here is 11%. So it's actually not taking up too much of it, but just as a general rule of thumb, that's how I like to set up my quads. So we'll go back in here, do it one by one. So again, this is how I'm set up here. So this is my receiver on UR1. It is a serial receiver, so I do have that serial tab checked. So that was all correct from the previous episode. Again, it's just that little jumper that kind of made things difficult. This is an X configuration, and my motor direction is reversed. So as you can see here, usually motors spin towards the FPV camera. So if you're looking at my overhead, the motors would spin this way. So the propellers would go in towards the FPV camera. I like to run reverse direction, which you'll have to select this, in which case the propellers rotate from out of the camera. And one of the major reasons why I do that is if you're going headfirst into a tree, if you're running motors in, it likes to grab that branch and bring the quad into the branch. If you're running motors out, it has a tendency to bounce off of it. So a lot of guys try to say what they want about, you know, aerodynamics and it's better for the airflow, but that's, you know, if you're coming in towards a branch, the motors are going to pull it in if you're running regular. But if you're rotating outwards, they're going to want to push it out. And I've climbed many of trees in my day. We don't need a craft name because I don't have Betaflight OSD. Again, serial-based receiver, S-bus is what we want. Air mode, anti-gravity dynamic filter is all on by default. If you want to know what those are, definitely go ask a more experienced guy like Joshua Bardwell, because he has 5 videos probably on each of those settings. But like I said, this is just how I set up my quads. I don't have a beeper, so I'm not going to mess with any of that. D-Shot 600 is the protocol I like to run. And because we are on Betaflight, usually with race flight, you want to run that on multi-shot, I believe is the one that they prefer. But I think technically, since this board is Betaflight, that doesn't matter. But that's what I'm going to keep it on. So we'll just save that. I did make changes. I did do motor direction. So we'll want to save our changes there. We'll go down to the next, PID tuning. So I'm going to leave this all as default right now. One, because I have to kind of read up on this because this is Betaflight 4 and I am not 100% on Betaflight 4, but it should work pretty darn good out of the box from what I've heard. We shouldn't have to tune too much. If I find that we have some vibrations or tuning stuff, we can come visit that in another episode once I've got it flying. Receiver. So I'm going to go ahead and get out my radio here. And I do run Free Sky protocol. I've got a Taranis QX7S, which I also did a review on. So if you want to check that out, you can definitely find that on modelaviation.com. Just search for my name for all the articles I've written.
Welcome to OpenTX.
And everybody who knows that, who has a Free Sky radio with OpenTX knows that sound. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this guy on here, and we should, look at that, we should begin to see where it is actually communicating this time. So it looks like everything is working correctly. You can see your little drone down here. Sorry, I didn't have it on there. You can see your little drone down here showing exactly what you're doing. So roll seems to be working. Pitch, yaw is working correctly. Throttle, you can see, is getting some signal there. Auxiliary, we're gonna have to change our auxiliary from how I had it set up. And then I have RSSI going to channel 12. So let's look at our modes again. Okay, none of that saved, so we're gonna have to redo that anyway. Last time I was telling you about my arm switch, so I have this set to auto, so if I flip a switch, it's gonna automatically show that auxiliary 3 is what I want. I'm sorry, no, I want, let's do that again, auxiliary 1. So that's gonna be, let's see if that's in focus at all. That's gonna be this switch here for arm. That's what I like to use. And then I also like, oh, and we'll move that so that when it's activated, it's within this active range here, and when it's deactivated, it is not. Another thing I like to do is use pre-arm. Oh, I don't want to link range, so we'll do auto, and this momentary switch here is my pre-arm that I like to use. So we'll go ahead and do that there. Make sure to set it to the range where it's on. So what pre-arm is, for those of you who are not familiar, is if my quad was all plugged in now and I for some reason accidentally hit the arm switch, if I didn't have a pre-arm, my quad would be armed. So sometimes, you know, you're walking through the field or something like that and you've got your radio with you and you accidentally bump your leg or something like that and you flip the arm switch. That's, you know, if you're holding your quad, that's no bueno because you're going to get a finger chopped. So that's just kind of a fail-safe. You know, you have to be on this momentary switch and arming to actually arm your quad. So that's just an extra layer of safety that I like to do. Otherwise, flip over after crash. So turtle mode, I like to set that on this switch here all the way down. Again, these are just personal preferences, what I've come to like, and we'll save that because that's all we're doing on that tab. And I will show you something really cool that I like to do with this switch here. This is a 3-position switch, and I like to actually put my rate profiles on here. Sometimes I like to fly real low, slow and smooth and have like real nice, you know, cinematic movements. But other times I just like this flip, the snap rolls and the quick flips. So I have the smoothest setting at the top of the switch, and then kind of in between snappy and smooth, and then all the way down is a snappy tune. And I will show you how to set that up right now in Betaflight. So what you'll want to do is enable expert mode. I want to make sure I save that again. I think I did. So you'll enable expert mode and you'll go into adjustments here. So we'll do auto. Oh, actually, that's going to be auxiliary 2. Nope. Try again. Auxiliary, what is this? 3. All right, so you can see here, this is that little switch again here. So you can see here, that's enabled there, and you want this to cover the full range. So you can see it's in every bit here. And then you'll want to apply, where is it here? Rate profile selection, right here. And then via channel auxiliary 3. So what that is going to do, I'll save that, and then I'll go back to my PID tuning tab. What that's going to do is enable you to select these rate profiles. So you can see here, as I'm flipping the switch through 1, 2, and 3, my rate profile is changing. So I can take rates from, they moved rates. Man, it's been a while since I've been in Betaflight. Oh, here we go, rate profile settings. So what I'll do is go in here, and the numbers that I remember for what I like is 65 on the super rate, 70 and then 75. And that's usually how I set up my, actually that's a little low. So let's do, because these are your degrees here. So let's go 0.8. Let's do 80 here and then 75 on this one. Yeah, that looks a lot better. And 70 here. Yeah, that's what it is. 70, 75, 80 are my three. Oh, that's not what I want to do at all. All right, let's refresh this. So on 1, we'll do 70. Okay. On 2, we'll do 75. And of course, I'm going to tune this back to my liking for each of these here, because I think yaw usually I go a little bit lower. And then 3, we'll save that. And we'll flip over to 3, and that'll be 80. There we go. Bear with me, guys. This is a little bit different than what I'm used to. I think the last time I looked at Betaflight, it was like 3.14 or something like that. 3.24 maybe. But I just wanted to pause here for a second and make sure nobody had any questions. This is an interactive show, so I do want people to speak up. Looks like we lost a lot of people. We were definitely in the weeds there for a little bit. So if you guys have any questions or anything like that, let me know. If I'm going too fast, if I kind of blew through that and you're like, wait, what was he saying? Just let me know in the comments. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you guys have to the best of my ability. Of course, like I said, I'm not an expert. This is me trying to put a quad together. So we'll get back into it here. So now that our rates are all set up the way I like them, and you can see again, when I'm flipping this switch, it's going 1, 2, and 3. So that's a nice way of on the fly swapping your rates. Modes, we did modes. Our motors are set up, and I think I'm ready to plug it in and make sure everything's working right. So I'm going to get out of Betaflight here for a moment. Put this off to the side. I'm going to keep it on because I'm going to plug in a battery here. And just to kind of keep this lid on here, I'm going to just screw this down just to keep it down. I'm not going to put this all the way on just yet, because as soon as I put every one of those screws on, I'm going to have to take it all right back off again. So I'm just going to tack it down. And then I'm going to plug in my battery here. And this is warning where rate switch is a cool idea. Thank you. I picked it up. I don't even know how long ago, because I know people like slow rates, people like fast rates. I changed my opinion. Sometimes, like I said, sometimes I like the snappy stuff. Sometimes I like the smooth stuff. Definitely depends on whether I'm flying for fun or flying for, a more cinematic look. Again, okay, so here we go. Warning, disclaimer: props off on the bench. Never put your props on, because I could have messed something up or bridged something, and as soon as I plug this in, the propellers could just go. Or, my arm switch could be on if you don't use the pre-switch, whatever. Props off on the bench. I'm going to plug this in, and we're going to test her out. It usually takes a second for it to do the second set of beeps. Hopefully it does, because that's going to be an entirely different problem if it doesn't. All right, let me try one more time, because that didn't sound too reassuring. Well, isn't that interesting? I'm going to go back through and check my wiring. Specifically, make sure that my ESC and my flight controller are wired up correctly. I didn't see any smoke, so that's a good sign, I guess. Just make sure. I'm going to take out this connector here. Motors all seem to be right. Ground, current, VBAT. All seems to be right. Okay. All my pins seem to be in all the way. Let's plug this guy back in. Well, that's the thing about building a quad live on stream. I'm actually kind of surprised that so few problems have presented themselves. Let's see if this works now. So that first set of beeps says we have power, and then usually there's another set of beeps. You know what? I don't think I have 5 volts running to my flight controller. That would be the problem, wouldn't it? So let's see what all we have power to, because I don't think the flight controller has power. We know, well, we don't know that the receiver has power. This definitely has power. And this has a 5 volt out, which I think I could tack onto my flight controller here. So yeah, that's definitely what it is. I did not wire up a 5 volt line to my flight controller to get my flight control power. So that's why we're not getting power. Okay. Well, it's hooked up to VBAT. It should be getting power. So your 5 volt pad is right here. And then I'm going to pull up. See, that's what I was thinking. There is no 5 volt from, Matt just chimed in and said I should be getting power from my harness, which would seem to be the case. I've got VBAT here. Let me check here real quick. So a good way to just make sure, double check here, because I also have VBAT. Yeah, okay, so that's interesting. The VTX is actually being powered from, I bet you I just need to run a separate 5 volt for some reason. And that might be some kind of a blown regulator. I don't know, but it's not getting power. Here, let me check this wire harness real quick. So what I'm going to do is just check for continuity. And again, my hack for continuity checking is to set it to impedance. And so if we have continuity, we should have 0 resistance. So I'm going to check this red tab here to this tab here. Oh, look at that. Well, no, but that's weird because the VTX is getting power. Maybe I'm not pushing down hard enough to get to it. There we go. Yeah. So the harness is making contact. Let me try something else here. So we'll plug that side in. And I know that goes here because that has the single stripe, and then I have two stripes on this part of the harness. I don't know if you guys can see that all that good, but we'll zoom in here. So you can see here where I made a mark on this harness so that when it's out, you can tell that those marks line up because they are different wiring between the two. And then I've got two marks on this one, which corresponds to two marks I have here. So that's kind of how I keep that straight, so I don't fry any components. We've all been there. All right, so I'm going to check continuity between, let's see here, this back side where it says battery. My head's in the way, so I can't get the flight controller out of the way for y'all to see that, but I'm touching the battery contact on the back side here. Oh, you can see it right there. Battery contact. And then let's just look at where are we getting power here. See, that's, yeah, so we should have power going through there. You know, I'm just going to do a jumper wire for 5 volts, and we'll see how that works. So again, I've got my big old cache of wires here. I feel like the professor on Futurama. And here's where I keep my random lengths of wire. All right, and I'm going to use an orange wire because it's 5 volt and not VBAT. So I don't know. That's just how I'm going to keep it straight. But let's see here. I'm going to pull up my Cricut because I know there's a 5 volt coming off of that. And it is this orange wire going to the camera. I don't want to break that wire. Can I get 5 volt from something else? So, oh yikes. VCC. Okay, no, that should be 5 volt too. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see if all these 5 volts are on the same circuit. I'm probably leading myself in a circle on this 5 volt thing. I just want to make sure. Five volt. Okay, so that's all on the same. But it looks like 5 volts for the receiver is on a different circuit. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to double check this here. Just want to plug it in one more time and see. Because check this out. We get power when we're plugged into USB. Okay. So we definitely have power when we're plugged into USB. But when we're plugged in here, we get no power. But we are getting power, I'm pretty sure. Let's check my radio here. See if we've got. I can't tell. So I'm just going to jump. Well, check this out. I'm just going to jump from where I have the receiver plugged in to one of these other 5 volt lines because I'm just curious. I feel like that's going to work. I don't know why, but I think it's going to work. I'm going to go ahead and put some flux on here. No, the receiver is powered from the board. but it's on a different circuit than the rest of the 5-volt because you had to do that little jumper. So it's getting 5-volt power from kind of a different source, I guess. So get my helper over here. Get this out of the way. Set that down. Get that tinned. Get that tinned. And then I'll grab this with my helper too. And we're going to tin. So I want it on this side here. And okay. So this is my 5-volt pad that I want to go to, which it's already tinned. Just going to get a little bit of flux on there so it sticks. And then I'm going to go to that. So I do want it on the back side. I'll make this jumper on the back side so it's hidden. All right. So we're going from, will it reach? Yeah, it should. Going from this 5-volt pad and we want to tin that other pad. Forgive me if I'm just mumbling to myself, guys, but that's how we build, isn't it? Clean off my tip. Use my needle nose here to kind of help me so I don't burn my hand trying to tack this to the pad. And we'll jumper that right to that other 5-volt. Okay. So again, since I did something kind of squirrely, I'm going to check for continuity on my mains battery just to make sure we don't have any shorts. Because if I just shorted out my board, this should tell me. So we'll see if we have continuity here. With my cheapo Harbor Freight, and we do not have a short. Okay, fingers crossed, guys. I am going to put my smoke stopper on for this one, just in case. Again, this is just a little gadget that helps to not put full voltage into the board. So let's see if this works here. Hopefully we'll get that second set of startup chimes here. No. Huh. Why is my board not getting power? Well, guys, I don't know if we're going to hover today. Kind of a bummer. Because we're getting power. Like the flight controller works, you know. Because we're getting that. And let's see what happens if I plug in when the USB's on. There you go. So when the USB's plugged in, it's getting power, and we get that second startup chime. I use a little harness that came with my 12-volt plus overran a 5-volt source. Oh, that's smart. Plug into the balance port. It's a way to do things. So I got to figure out how to get power to the board when it should be getting power. All right, so well, I know the ESC is giving power to the flight controller because the flight controller is giving power to the VTX and the receiver. So why isn't the flight controller getting power? Let's see if my 5 volts are putting off power. So I'm going to put this back into voltage checker mode and just see if I'm getting any voltage from the 5 volt BEC. Okay, I'm going to plug it in first because I know I'm getting power here. So we'll see what kind of voltage I'm getting from the 5 volt pads. So I'll pull up Total Noob and it works. Hey, if it works and it's stupid, or no, if it's stupid and it works, then it's not stupid, right? Is that how that goes? So I'm going to pull up my my pinout here. And it looks like we've got 5 volts in a couple of places on the front of the board and on the side of the board. Plus 5 volts. Ooh, from the okay, so there is a 5 volt input on the harness, which I do not believe I have hooked up. But I'm not getting 5 volts from the ESC. It doesn't. This ESC doesn't give 5 volts. So there's several places I could tie into here. So I'm going to see. So yeah, we've got power here. I'm just going to see what's going on. So we'll put ground to ground, and then I'm going to test the voltage. So hopefully this will say 5. Test the voltage of these BECs. I don't know what I'm doing. There we go. All right, so that one's actually giving off full voltage, but these 5 volts are not. I wonder if I have a lame 5 volt regulator somewhere. Well, let's plug this in and see what we got now. This thing is messed up. Oh, I hate it. All right, so let's grab a ground. Where's my ground at? Now that I don't have a ground for my... Just use the ground on here. So ground. So we should be getting battery voltage on this VCC. So yeah, okay, so we're getting 5 volts here when the battery's connected. And we're getting full voltage here. It's just bizarre. We're just running into all kinds of fun stuff, guys. All kinds of fun stuff here. What happens when I unplug that? All right, we lost power. Sounded like we lost my radio buzz when I unplugged that, so the receiver, I don't think, actually is getting power when just the battery's on. So we'll put this on. Where's my ground? Ground. Yeah, so none of my... Oh, I did something. So is that turning that on when I put those two grounds together? That's kind of weird. Oh no, it's just saying radio lost. It just, every time I touched it, my radio was buzzing. Must be getting low here. I'm going to turn that off. All right. So ground. Yeah, I don't know. I almost kind of think we have a toasted 5-volt regulator here, which would be this guy, I think. Which is a bummer because that's pretty much the end of this flight controller. So let me do a hack here, because I know when the USB is plugged in, I know we're getting stuff. So let's see where the USB power pin is, and maybe I can just give 5 volts directly to that somehow. Well, it should be hooked up to, we'll just see. Where do I want to grab my ground? Thanks again, guys, for tuning in to this amazing feat of troubleshooting. My camcorder just turned off, so I'm gonna have to grab another source here. Okay, that'll work. So everything's just going crazy today. Always have a backup plan. All right, so I'm getting voltage there. Oh, I don't want to jump anything because that's probably bad. All right, so let's see if I have continuity there. Okay. So here's what I'm going to do. That's getting power. That has a good 5 volt out. I'm just going to cut that wire, and that's I know exactly what I'm going to do. All right. So this orange wire here going from my VTX to my camera, that's what's giving 5 volts from the VTX to the camera. So I know that's a good 5 volt line, and I know that's what's going on. So I'm going to cut that, and I'm going to just run it through my flight controller and see if that works. Because I have 2 5 volt pads that are connected. So I'm just going to use this 5 volt regulator on the VTX to try to power the flight controller. Let's see if that works. Bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see how it pans out. All right. Get that stripped back. Get some flux on it. If you guys are wondering about my amazing shirt, separate but together, that's because we have the Where Will You Land campaign going on with the foundation right now. I don't know if you can still get these, but basically our foundation set up a program where we are helping AMA members who may have been affected by COVID-19. If they're unable, financially stressed enough that they're not able to pay for their membership dues or their membership fee for the AMA. Bunch of people donated. We got these cool shirts, and that's all going into a fund to help you in case you need help paying your membership dues. So go to modelaircraft.org/together to find out more information. I'm not sure if that's still open or not for applicants, but that's why we have these shirts. I just got them the other day, so forgive me if it's too late, but that's, if you're wondering about my shirt, that's what's going on there. So let's run through the board. So that's 5-volt here. We'll get this. Sorry guys, I'll try to get this going. I'd be really cool if I could do a hover test for you today, because that's where I really wanted to be. 5 volts there, and then we will tack the camera on there. Hopefully get the 5 volts that's running through here once we connect the VTX 5-volt out to the other 5-volt pad on this board. Appreciate you all hanging out though. There's about 10 of you that have kind of stuck with me through this. Either you want me to fail so you can laugh at me, or you really want this to work. Either way, it gets views. I'm fine with that. All right, I think we're back. Sorry, guys. I think the entire city of Muncie just lost internet because I'm actually running through the hotspot on my phone right now. And my producer got kicked off, and our social media manager also is not having any internet. So I think the entire city just got wiped out. I'm glad I was able to hook up on my phone to get in here because it looks like the live stream was just going to keep running with that background. So appreciate you guys sticking with me. I think, is this my phone? No, that's, where's that coming from? My laptop. All right, so I'm still up and going, and I did connect while we were offline. I did connect that 5-volt through here. So I'm going to plug in. I'm going to do a test here real quick. Again, I appreciate, looks like 8 of you guys kind of hung around. Appreciate you guys hanging out to see what was happening, because I think we all just kind of left. And y'all were probably wondering what was going on. So all right, I'm going to have to do this with a mouse now because my system's not working. So here we go. So no continuity, which is a good news. So let's plug this in and see if we get a signal. Yes, it worked. Check that out. All right. Yeah, so now I'm going to turn on the radio, and we'll see if we can get these motors to spin. So I'm going to get some of this stuff out of the way here. Okay, this one might run over a little bit over an hour because I see people saying that they want to see me hover. I want to hover too, and so I hope we get to do that because that would be really cool. So I'm going to not drop my soldering iron on my desk. Move that away. And let's see if we get some spinning here. So I've got my radio all connected and ready to go. Look at that. All right, cool. Awesome. So radio talking to quad. All right. I think I'm going to bolt these all down, and we're going to run outside and try to hover real quick because I think we can get that in. So let's do that. So I'm going to unplug this and get this all bolted down. I'm excited. That's really cool. The internet's trying to bring me down. But you know what? Thank you, Verizon Wireless, for picking up where, not a sponsor, for picking up where Comcast is failing me, because apparently we just don't have any internet right now for at least the entire city of Muncie. Again, guys, this stream is made possible through the Academy of Model Aeronautics. If you guys aren't a member, I would urge you to check us out, see what's going on. You can look us up at modelaircraft.org/join just to see what everything's all about. I actually got my membership card. Of course, I've been a member for years, but I just found out that I can actually use my pilot handle as my AMA number. So I got my membership card. See if it's around here somewhere. I know I just had it. I got my membership card that says Drone Slinger, which is really kind of cool. So let's see here. Get these last couple of bolts on. Then we'll go outside and hover, because that's what y'all came here to look at, right? Is when you wanted to see whether I hovered or not. Radioactive, according to a fellow pilot. Yeah, I'm beginning to feel that way. My social media team and my producer, that Matt Ruddick, that was on this call, is probably freaking out right now because I'm not answering anything. I don't know if they know if I'm still online or not, if I figured it out. So I don't know. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. Check this out. This is going to be really cool. So, oh, I need a strap. Where is... Oh, here it is. Of course, wouldn't be complete without the Strix strap. These are really nice. This is one of those like leather lined, like, I don't know, it's got Kevlar or something. It's a really nice durable strap from ReadyMade RC. Hashtag not a sponsor. Hashtag let's talk. Should have put this on before I put the top plate on. Okay, I'm going to do that because I'm not going to sit here fiddle with it. It's going to take me longer to try to do that. Sorry, I'm trying to get my mobile camera set up here. While I'm trying to. Yeah, so Mark just said, looks like the show is still going. I am actually hotspotting from my phone now. So I noticed that the live broadcast was still going because nobody was in here to stop it. So I quick and hooked up my phone to my computer using that internet, and here I am. So my boss just, I saw a notification come through on my email, and my boss was like, "Hey, he's still going." So yeah, that's how that's possible. Let me take this banner down. All right. Cool. I don't want that. No, stop. We'll figure that out in a second. Trying to do too many things at once here. Let's get a strap on first. The show must go on, is what I say. I'm gonna hover today, just so you guys know. I'm going over. I like to keep this at an hour, but I'm going to hover this quad today because everything that this stream has thrown at me, I'm just going to keep going. The show must go on. So let's get this strap in here. It's a real thick strap, which is nice. Yeah, see, I'm glad I didn't try to do this. Come on now. All right. Is anybody working on any builds? Anybody building a quad? Anybody building a plane? Anything like that? Hashtag spam the chat. This is fun. Got to get my AMA membership. Take your time. All right. Appreciate that. Thank you. I'm glad you're sticking around. I do plan on cutting all these videos down into something a little bit more digestible. It was definitely fun being live, doing this live, but I don't think anyone's going to go back and watch, 5-6 hours of me just mumbling around. So I'm definitely going to cut this down for anybody who's just coming in, who doesn't want to go back to the first video and watch the rest of this. I do plan on cutting this down to a more manageable viewing experience and uploading that. Looking at building my first. Oh, what's up, Brady? That's awesome, dude. Good old Portland, Indiana. Hometown squad, represent. Yeah, these are so fun, dude. Seriously. There's a little bit of technical know-how. If you're good at troubleshooting, I'll tell you that. If you're good at troubleshooting, if you're good at tracing your lines and figuring out, it's not this because of this. It's not this because of this. If you're good at going through that, then this should be fairly straightforward for you. So do not be spooked by all of these problems I'm having. It's just part of it. So let's see. Plug it in. I'm going to be able to plug this battery in. The battery lead isn't long enough. Might have to make a little jumper or something. Here, that one's going to work. All right. So I'm going to mute my audio here so we don't get that crazy feedback. Please encourage people to get their ham license for FPV. Yes, definitely get your ham license. So I'm going to mute myself here. So I'm going to cut out my audio for a second, and then I'm going to jump on my phone. On my phone. Use a nail gun. Yeah, definitely. Can everybody hear me? Is my audio going through? Let me know in the chat. I don't have a producer. I don't think that's hanging out with me here because he's gotten kicked off. So I don't know if you can hear me. Can you hear me talk? Can people hear me? Check. Hey, hey. Check 1, 2. Sorry, guys. Well, I don't know if you can hear me or not, but we're going to go out and check this out. So watch this. Let's see if I can get my FPV view here. All right. I've got my FPV view. I hope you guys can see that. I hope you guys can hear me. I'm going to check back. Audio gone. Okay. Oh, it's very quiet, but you can still hear me? Yeah. So I don't know. Let's see if we just take these off. If we just don't use these. Go with default here. Sorry, guys. First time I'm doing this. Can you hear me now? I don't know. If not, doesn't matter. Here is my FPV feed. I get my radio. I'm gonna get my goggles, and we're gonna go out, and we're gonna hover this. Hopefully the feed don't cut off again. We'll see. Now that I'm using my phone internet to power my computer internet. Let's see if the internet's back up. I don't think it is. Anybody, can you hear me? Is there audio? I don't know if you can hear me. All right, we got a good FPV here. Let's go outside. A little walking toward my house. All right. So again, if you guys didn't see my shirt, that's the iFly AMA. Good stuff there. Separate but together. All right, set this guy up right here. We'll try to hover it right there for you guys, right in the shade. All right. Looks like my FPV feed went down. It's too far. All right, I put it on 600. Don't tell Chris Thomas. I don't want him hammering me, but we'll see. We'll check this out. You know what I forgot? I don't have any propellers. Oh, this is a day, isn't it? This is a day. We'll go back and we'll put on some propellers first. I'm just too excited. Again, I have no idea if you guys can hear me or not, because I don't have a producer telling me what we got going on. So I'm gonna assume you guys are hearing me. Hopefully you don't lose too many people. Put on some propellers because that is definitely needed for a hover test, for sure. I got these nice V1S HQ props, 5x4.8 by 3. Onto the number 3 prop. Sorry guys, I really appreciate you all hanging around for this. This has been amateur hour for so many reasons. But we're getting it working. Still don't have any internet here. Last propeller, and then we can hover test. All right, props. Let's try this again. You know what? I got an idea. We don't need all that high-tech stuff for you to see my FPV feed. We've got it right here, even though it's not really necessary. But let's go back down. Let's try this again, shall we? Oh, this is great. Okay. Get another tour of my house. My wife just scurried away because she saw me coming with a camera. Okay, let's try this again. Put you guys here. We'll put FPV right here. don't know if you can see that or not. Doesn't really matter. There you go, good enough. I always do a prop spin check. Props are spinning, we're good to go. Hover test is good. Got it. Just going to leave that there and come back later. I do need to figure out how to get internet back so I can stop the stream. But, you know, thank you guys for coming and hanging out. I'm glad we got this hovering. We'll try to go into some more details. Maybe we'll do a flight video once we figure out this mobile situation. But right now I got to figure out how to stop the live stream because I can't do it from my phone and my internet is down. So you might see me just fumbling around for a little bit. But that's okay because this is real life. I can't see any comments or anything. Oh, there's a chat. Let's see what we got. Any chat going on here? Any comments? We got you. Where are your props? Yeah, there you go. All right, cool. So we did have audio. All right. I'm going to try to just get back on the internet with my computer because I can't shut the stream down. Still trying to figure it out. Chat, what do we got in the chat here? What's going on, guys? Get this shut down. And my phone, of course, is not being picked up right now. The hotspot is on. Here it is. Okay. Boy, this has been just a crazy, crazy experience, guys. I appreciate you guys staying with it, keeping with me. We did get a hover test done, so that's really cool. All right, here I'm coming back in the studio. If you're not an AMA member, you know, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and start today. Go to modelaircraft.org/join. None of my webcams are working. This is just. All right, cut the red wire. Okay, here we go. So cut the red wire. Again, thank you guys for hanging out with me. I'm glad we did get a hover test. I'm sorry we went a little bit over an hour. I like to keep them that short, but we'll see you next time for, I don't know, some flight videos, some PID tuning. We'll figure it out. Thanks again, guys.